We're live now?
Sure.
Right. Of course you would, Dusty.
Hey.
Just mute our mic for a second here.
Hey. No, buddy. Dusty, like, right now, buddy.
Yeah, you know what it is. Go ahead, or you can unmute us. Dusty's got to, listen, it is what it is, man. Welcome back to this episode of the Nonsensical. We're live, right? We're live. We're going. All right, cool. Welcome back to this episode of the Nonsensical Knowledge podcast. We are fucking back. This is episode number 86, I believe. 86. We are here with our brother fucking John Nesel. He had to run to take Dusty out real quick because as soon as we went live, Dusty was like, you know what? We're going to get busy. So what's good, everybody?
What's up, everybody?
Here's Johnny.
There he is.
Here's Johnny.
There's Johnny.
You know what I mean? But this is our first episode back in person in a while. Actually, I believe our last one was with Johnny as well. And shout out to everybody out there with us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. On this episode, we wanted to get into death, man. Right? So, everybody has a varying level of, I guess, ideas of death, and what it means to everyone is different. But let's dive into it. It's an uncomfortable subject. Some people have like a impending fear of doom, I guess you could say, with with death. What do you guys think?
I think that the fear stems from just not knowing. The fear is just it's self created. The fear of death is only there because we don't know what actually happens to us after we pass away.
Right.
And I think that if we attain the knowledge that we need to know what happens after we pass away, would give us a comfort in this life, in this brain, that is just paramount. It's
sure. And like you said, the fear of not knowing, right? So like everybody obviously has lost someone in their life to death, whether it be untimely or of, perfect health and stuff like that, grandparents, cousins, brothers, sisters, whatever. It affects everyone differently. But again, there's been this age-old debate on what happens, right? And various religions have their ideas of what happens at the moment of death. And they're all pretty similar though, right? So like in my opinion, it's like, especially in the Abrahamic religions, they're all kind of the same, except for like, I think Catholicism is really the only one that stands out, kind of with what we were talking about with the Bardo system. All the rest of them are like, no, you go to hell. That's it, heaven or hell. Or there's just the idea that nothing happens. That's it.
Well, that's nihilism. Nihilism is the belief that when you pass away, your conscious scene it doesn't take any sensory things in anymore, and it's just a void. Nihilism is the belief that nothing is in existence, true nothingness when you pass away. And if you believe in this type of life structure, the quality of life that you'll live in this realm will be minuscule compared to one that has purpose. So that in line, that right there is the fundamental, the point in which one starts to believe what happens to them in the afterlife.
Right.
Stop, Dusty.
Let's shout out to everybody listening. This is Dusty.
This is Chubbs.
This is Chubbs. He's obviously going to steal the show.
Yep.
But and again, I guess it's kind of conflicting with death in general because immediately, let's turn that down. Yeah, do your thing, bro. No worries.
Chubbs, no, buddy.
He's like, let's fucking roll.
Chubbs is ready.
Listen, it would not be the Nonsensical Knowledge podcast without some weirdo shit going on.
I love it.
Yeah, it's fucking fun stuff. What's good with you, Herb?
Chilling, man. I've been, thinking about life too,
Chew on.
and death.
Yeah.
So you guys called me on this subject. I'm like, let's get into it, man.
Yeah, this was actually Johnny's idea. He had hit me up like about a week ago and was like, he had fallen down a rabbit hole into the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And for anyone that doesn't know, we'll give this a second. Get Chubbs figured out.
That's right.
Just give us a mute real quick. Shout out to everybody with us. Just hang on for a couple minutes here.
Dusty's gonna go for a walk.
Dusty gonna go for a walk. Let some energy out. We got people tapping in.
Yeah, shout out to the 5 people on X right now. 0 on YouTube.
Oh shit! I gotta share it too.
Yeah, get that out
Be
there.
fucking
We got
around.
time. Ain't no rush.
We got time.
Thank you for hanging out with us. Where you guys tuning in from?
Yup. Shout out everybody on Rumble and Kick, and Twitch as well.
Piece of hunk of cow, and he's chewing on that.
Yeah, take that, Chubbs. Fucking take that, bro. No,
No,
not on the couch.
Over there, buddy.
Come on.
Not on the couch. Take your steak. I hope you guys can
Good
see
boy.
that too on camera. There's this giant ass steak that's in Dusty's mouth right now.
He loves meat very much.
Um,
Over there, buddy. You know where to go. Good boy.
Chubbs, come on, Chubbs.
What are you doing? Crazy.
This is epic.
It is.
yeah, you know what it is, man. This is what we do.
Shout out to our one viewer on Twitch.
What's up, Twitch?
Yeah, I'm not. Listen, they got to leave us a comment. Leave us a comment on Twitch because we always have this one bot tuning in. Like we have a bot on fucking Twitch. Like,
Really?
it's the weirdest thing, bro. They'll end up commenting. So like, watch later in the stream, we'll get a weirdo comment. Right? It happens almost every time we have someone on Twitch. But
Okay, guess we'll walk.
it's growing, Make sure you guys follow all the social medias. But anyways, Johnny hit us up and we fell into a rabbit hole of the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And for anybody that doesn't know, it explains, it's almost like a guide to people getting ready to pass away. And essentially what it does is it gives you an idea of, at least in Buddhist culture, right? Like at least this is what the Buddhist culture is saying, is that there's many stages after death.
True.
So why don't you break that down a little bit, Johnny?
So from my research, it's not so much. I'm not doing too much.
You're good. I turned it down because of Dusty.
I haven't done enough research to be like a voice behind it. So
No, we're speculating, doggy.
What I'm saying right now is pure speculation, and everything that comes out of my mouth needs to be researched, and you need to dive into it yourself and figure it out for yourself. Because what I'm realizing in any fundamental truth is the realization, and the only thing that's going to make everything click is your own mind. The only thing that's going to prove something against another is your own head. So with that in mind, death to me is the loss of being able to communicate, being able to project your will, being able to orchestrate yourself in this world. I also have all of these things going on inside of my mind that allows me to question absolutely everything in all of its existence. And all of that is coming from a place of not knowing what happens when you die. So the Bardos, when you pass away, what I've understood is the second that you pass away, the Bardo Thoro is when you cease to be able to manipulate your body with your mind and control it.
It's the moment
So-
you leave consciousness.
It's the moment you leave consciousness. So like when this happens, there's all this light that is emitted upon you, and if you can recognize this light as pure consciousness, as your pure awareness of what is, and it is you, you will be accepted into this light. Now what happens when you get accepted into this light is something that needs to be studied further and needs to be projected and people need to learn more of, because there isn't a place to figure out what unifying with this light would actually do. Is it good? Is it bad?
Well, let's unpack that for a second. Not to cut you off, Johnny, but like you said it, like this illusion of a light, right? So like upon the moment of leaving consciousness, this is very similar to near-death experiences.
True.
Right? So like in my mind, like as you were saying that, it was like, wait, people have these experiences all of the time. Is that some people, and again, we got into this off record, a couple days ago, but essentially about how like what you see is a projection of your own mind. So if in your mind you are a Christian or something like that, you might see an angel.
Yes.
You might see a Jesus Christ.
It's a projection of your own of what you like. Okay, so that's the second Bardo. The first Bardo is the realization that you're no longer inside of your body, and that there is something beyond the physical realm. The second Bardo is understanding of it to be is a place, a realm in which your consciousness goes into that makes it so that you can that all the fears, all the anxieties, all the love, every emotion that you have is personified by a being of some sort, either an energy or a person or a demon, an angel. Any of these things any of these things can be presented to you, and you can be either scared of them or you can be captivated by their love. And like when a demon is presented to you, and let's say you were an angry person in life, if you were very, very angry, this brain might look like a demon of some kind that is facing you and tormenting you with whatever it is that caused you to be angry to begin with.
Right.
And
So
if you can understand that is if that is a projection of your own mind,
You almost had it, Irv.
then you'll understand that
Hold that thought 1 second. My bad. So, Irv, there should be a setting already on there, a layout.
Yeah.
Where it's like all the way to the right. Click.
Shifts it.
So there should be a way for that to be the entire
Let
screen.
me see. Here we go. Got it.
So, let's see, it didn't change yet. Yeah, it's almost like the entire layout. Sorry guys for out there, we're having some technical difficulties. This is the first time we're using like a weirdo setup. Let's see if I can jump into StreamYard real fast.
We should be straight. I'm full screen.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
Because maybe it's just see on the Facebook.
That's full.
Now it is. Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Got it. Shout out to Irv, the tech guy.
thank you, Irv.
Fucking A. So again, so like Johnny was just saying is that like, so a lot of the times, like your experiences through life manifest in illusions, essentially.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you get to these bardos is where they manifest as either really good or really bad.
True. And I think this is where people where Christianity and the heaven and the hell and the good and the evil, all of this is so intertwined with each other to a point that it's just it's one. Like there is no difference between Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism. All of these things, they all are telling the same fundamental truth of that you are creating your own existence. You are the architect of everything that you see, everything that you feel, everything that you allow into your mind and your body, and you are in control of how you react to it. So Stoicism is a very it makes a lot of sense to me. And being able to see something happen, even if it's traumatic and it happens right in front of you, being able to have the power to detach from that and not have an emotional attachment towards any of the effects that could happen from this experience, it protects you in such a way that allows your spirit to not be in bondage and not for you to be in pain and agony. Because that state of pain and agony, what are you doing? Are you healing at this point, or what is agony?
Right.
What are all emotions? So in reality, the bardos are beautiful things. Like when you go, okay, so you're say you pass away and you see the light and you don't recognize it as your own consciousness. It's just this warm, beautiful thing hitting you, and you're just like, oh my God, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and I don't want to be anywhere but in its presence. And it's the most comforting thing in the entire world. And you accept this light as goodness. That's all well and wonderful. But then you get sent into the
I
second
don't know if it
bardo.
was. I think it was Johnny's.
What?
Not the phone. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Sorry to cut you off, Johnny.
So then you get sent into the second bardo, and the second bardo you get shown demons and angels. And in the demons and angels, if you can recognize that these demons and angels are a representation of your actions and your good and evil deeds while you were here on existence in this physical plane, and you're balancing your own scale. You're determining yourself. Am I worthy of heaven or am I worthy of hell? And those are metaphors. They're not actual literal places. They're metaphors for existence of things that we can't describe. So heaven and hell and being passed on and being into this state is such a spiritual thing that people need to discuss and talk more on it so that more information can come, because the more I think about it, the more I know I do not know. The more it's so
Well, unfortunately, bro, and we'll get Irv's take on this too, is that it's not a system. We don't live in a reality that preaches inner spirituality. You know what I mean? It's the manifestation of material shit. We gotta go chase the money. We gotta go chase this. We got the rat race. We got this. It really doesn't leave a lot of time for people to be like, hey, dude, I can fucking meditate. Like, what do you mean meditate?
Yeah.
Are you fucking crazy? What do you think? Or when it comes to just the system of why we don't talk about it so much, or well, we do, but mainstream society.
So before I get into it, let's break down the three bardos for the listeners.
Johnny was what, number 2, I think. Yeah.
He's on number
ahead.
2. So we got the Chikai bardo, which is the moment of death, where one may experience a vision of ultimate reality or clear light. The Chan Yi bardo, the phase where one encounters visions of deities, both peaceful and wrathful, reflecting the mind's projections. And the Sidpa, the state of seeking rebirth, where the consciousness is drawn toward a new physical existence. So for me, man, like this is really my first conversation about death.
Yep.
You know, like I've learned about it. Went to Catholic schools, talked about afterlife and stuff. But like I was just telling Johnny, so many people are dying. It feels like because we're so connected, we hear everybody die, from stars to local cats to friends. It's like constantly every single week, just people you dying. Like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
So to get together and talk about death, because it's fearful, man. It's like, what's the afterworld? Where are we going after? Like, It's tough, man. It's like I've been thinking about it a lot. Like you start getting
Are we
older.
getting to that age? Are we getting to that age, bro?
We are.
I think we might just be hitting that age.
We are.
You know,
Yeah.
like we're starting
It's
to
real.
quit. Like
It's
it's
happening.
right. We're not getting any fucking younger.
No.
That's true.
We're like,
Right. So, but it's interesting too because with the idea of that, as soon as you're born, you start to die.
It's true. I mean, like, in all reality, that you do definitely start to die, but the fear of it is instilled in us since because it's passed on generational.
But we're
generation.
attached though.
Like,
We're
we
attached to shit.
We are very much attached to stuff, and that is because of the unknown. If we knew what happened after we passed on, we would have no fear of death.
See, I think yes and no though, because just in my opinion, we put almost that as a society, we put that negative connotation on death, right? So it's like it hurts. Don't get it fucked up. We all known somebody that passes, and it's like, yo, man, this person's not here anymore. You get tearful when you think about them, type shit. Like, but at the same time, to me, it's like, no, we'll see you when we get there. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter where it is. But as a society, we want to make it this negative thing. Like everybody, it's mourning time. It's like we got to mourn, we got to grieve, and it's like no, we should be celebrating death in a sense. Like so, like the Mexicans do. What is it? Dia de
of the Dead.
Los Muertos. You know what I
Okay.
mean? It's the Day of the Dead. And they go and they celebrate the dead, bro. And it's like the passing on to the next phase, as opposed to being like, all right, look, you know, it's like they're in heaven or hell. You know what I mean? No, it's a continuation of like, oh, we'll see you in the next life, you know. But as a society, I think we just put that negative aspect on it. So for me, I like a lot of people just don't see this is just a stop on the road. You know, like our energy is continuous no matter what. If quantum physics mean anything, energy cannot be created nor destroyed.
True, and in all reality, quantum physics, the explanation of what is true and what is real. Quantum physics is gonna like that. That's if you look into it, it's just like, all right, so here's a microphone in front of me right now, and let's divide each piece of this microphone in half let's divide it 20 times and go into it and see what it looks like on a molecular level. Then you divide it even further and you see what it's like on an atomic level. And then you divide it even further and you see what it's like on a quark level. Then you can divide it even further and you can see it on an electron level. Then you can go even further and you can divide that into whatever it is that's beyond this. And you can keep going. And to what point does this thing actually manifest into a microphone? Like what parts of all those little things turn into this microphone?
But that's the interesting part about it is everything, even that microphone, is vibrating at a certain frequency. So again, we've talked about this 100 times. Irv and I is like your eyes are picking up electrical signals, and then your brain is translating that into a microphone. Yep. So like we were just talking about the Matrix, right? So it's like that thing is coded into the psyche, and it's like, okay, we all agree, us three right here in this room, anybody watching, that these are microphones in front of us.
True, but what is a microphone? Like what is a thing?
It's nothing.
It's not. It's everything, and it's nothing.
Space.
That's what I'm trying to understand. Is just like, all right,
ones
so
and zeros.
Like, what is a solid piece of matter? Does this exist? Does a solid piece of matter exist? No, it doesn't. And you can morph anything into anything that you can possibly fathom in your mind. And so a potter, he makes a pot, right? And he molds the clay into a pot. But what if the potter looked at the clay and just helped the clay become what it wanted to be, what it was supposed to be? And instead of molding it into a pot to hold water or contain something, what if the clay, it is just is, and it's so hard.
Anything that can be thought of is real. So in an infinite universe, a multiverse, if you thought that, it happened somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, so really, dude, it might not be our universe, but it happens.
So the duality of
created it.
existence, right? You have everything and you have nothing. And they're combating with each other. One is good, one is evil, one is God, one is the devil, one is this. There are just so many different iterations of the same exact story of dualism in the entire world that it makes it very, very hard for a human with a single mind and not two to be able to observe the world as it is. If we had to imagine if a soul embodied two physical bodies at the same time, and one went through a life of agony and pure hell,
Who's saying
and the other
it's not?
who is to say that they're not? But my perception from the brain that I have in my mind right now, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty close to the way that you view yours, is that it's singular and it's only observed through my own perspective.
So no, I don't look at it singular at all. We're all connected. We're all using a hive mind, bro. Think about it.
Quantum entanglement.
Quantum entanglement, for one, and for two, we all agree on a certain amount of information.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So we are the hive mind, bro. Like we are like perpetuating whatever information is like we say. We Dusty.
Just don't give him attention. He'll figure out.
Damn. Yeah. We're gonna mute for a second. Give Dusty a second. We muted her. Yeah. He's good for a second, but
Dusty, chill. Get your meat.
I think it's. He might have got it. I think it's gone.
There's no way he ate everything.
I think it's gone.
It was frozen.
He's an animal.
Yes, he is. Hey,
I know, right?
damn it, Dusty, man, you gotta
Leave
do
a
this.
comment.
Come here, buddy. Hup. Come here.
Come on, Dusty. Get up here.
Come here. Come here, buddy. Come
on,
here.
bro.
Hup. Herb, can you grab his collar and just bring him over here? Dusty, come here, man.
He's not hearing it.
Dust, have you seen ghosts?
Come here,
No,
man.
he wants.
Fuck, what do I do with him?
I don't even know.
Desiree, can you take Dusty outside for a minute, please?
I did, honey.
Can you come here then, Dad? Bud. Come on. Damn it, Dusty, man.
He's like, give me another piece of fucking steak. You can unmute us for a second.
Yeah.
We're good. We're good. Shout out to everybody. Thanks for bearing with us tonight. Dusty is the star of the show, and I'll have it no other way. But yeah, so quantum entanglement is a really good a point you made, Irv, and just the connectivity of everyone out there. And that's like saying that, what was it? They found that atoms break down quantum the quantum entanglement.
Oh, okay. So quantum entanglement is two lights of photons, two photons. You entangle them, and then if you separate them to the ends of the universe, if you spin one to the right, instantaneously the other one will spin to the right. Spin it back to the left, the other one instantly. They call it quantum entanglement at a spooky distance.
Look at that fucking steak. Jesus Christ, Dusty. You got lucky tonight, bro.
Go over there.
Yo,
Go ahead,
leave a
enjoy
comment for Dusty.
Go ahead and enjoy that steak, buddy.
Sorry, Irv.
Nah, it's all good.
He's about to come enjoy the steak. And
You want to eat it up here? Come on. Hup.
Damn, Dust, I'm about to start barking.
I know, fucking A, bro.
There he goes. Now
Yeah, he's out of here.
All right.
We got it. We not another fucking. He's pumped. But all right, so yeah, so essentially what you're saying is that you can stretch out two atoms, or excuse me, break that down again.
Photons.
Two photons across the universe, and they can share experiences or information from across the universe.
My understanding of it though,
Instantaneous.
Irv, is that if one is spinning, if there's an upward spin on one of these quarks, then the other one would have an exact opposite. It would spin the exact opposite way of the one it's entangled to, and that duality of the two existing in those two different realms makes the other one exist. So if this one's spinning backwards, the other one must be spinning
The opposite.
forwards. So like that's my understanding of it, but I could be wrong. But at the same time, that the understanding of them being entangled and being connected to each other, no matter the distance between each other, that's the understanding of entanglement to me.
Yeah, they're actually creating communication devices with it now. So now they can put information and transmit it instantly. So like it's, the time distance to communicate on Mars. If you use quantum entanglement, you can communicate instantly. What they call that the spooky action is that when it reverses.
Okay.
They don't understand it.
Okay.
There's no.
Well, again, when you look at it, it changes though.
But when you look at it,
So this is the fucking wild part about this information too, is that so as soon as we observe it, it changes.
Yeah.
So we don't know the true nature of the state it's in anyway.
So doesn't that prove that if it changes when you observe it, does that mean that it'll only exist once it is observed?
This is Schrodinger's cat theory.
It is.
This is, you put a cat in a box. If you're not observing the cat, is the cat alive or dead? This is the same concept of if you're in the wood or if you're not in the woods and a tree falls.
Is there anything to hear?
Right.
It doesn't make a sound. True. It's there's no way to prove it. The same thing with simulation theory. There's no way to disprove or prove that it is actually true.
Yeah.
So we could be in one of 10. We could be all plugged into a bunch of it. We could be plugged into like a matrix style thing, but then guess what? We could be plugged into another matrix style thing that's beyond that, and then you can go into Inception and go
Leave
deep, layers deep, and just be completely like immersed into so much fakeness and so much non-realness.
What are you doing?
That's the brain in the vat. It's like,
damn, Dusty.
We could be like they say like the brain in the vat. Our brains are just in tubes, and this whole thing is happening to us. We wouldn't know the difference.
Well, that's kind of what we are though now. Is we're really just outside of it. Consciousness resides in the brain.
But why would someone that is controlling us, if there's an entity controlling us that we're in these realms, why would they even allow for the recognition of it or even the thought of us being able to be plugged into something? It would lose its faculty of control if we could even fathom this thought.
Well, if we go the Anunnaki route, right? So, and this is just, I guess, kind of like a sidebar, is that there were two different factions. There were people that wanted to give us our freedom. Like they were like, yo, these guys, they know how to love, they know how to respect, they know how to worship, you know what I mean? Whatever the case may be. But then there was also that authority figure that was like, wait, we made them too smart, wipe them out with a flood. You dig what I'm saying? So that was the whole Anunnaki basis, is that there was like, they genetically modified us. And I'm not saying that's what it is, because I think the nature of existence and conscious reality is so far deep, dude, that even an extraterrestrial existence creating us, like, who knows? Who knows? Maybe it is a simulation. It's a computer, bro.
Well, again, it just falls into the metaphor of God and everything else. Aliens being God, whoever the creator is, because in all of our reality, the number one thing that I feel that most people can agree upon is that there is some kind of power, there is some kind of structure that is beyond us that created us. And for our definition of that, we've killed each other over for thousands, since the thought even started in someone's mind. And like religious wars, like if you look at the Crusades, right, and you have and you got the Crusades going on, and you have God's holy war. And if you were someone that, like, let's say you were in the Knights Templar, the Knights Templar, God's holy army. Okay, so they're what God, what creator on ever would
You're-
want you to take an
you're-
arm against another human being instead of using voice and vibration to emit?
You're getting into an interesting area, though,
Okay.
because again, we have to talk about what is accurate, right? So, like, we have men telling us a story, right? And men, that's absolute power, corrupts absolutely.
Yep.
Dig what I'm saying? So, like, when they saw what they were going to do with religion and the form of control that they could have, you know what I mean, was like, after so long, Johnny, like, you didn't need the crusades anymore because people were just telling their kids, like, yo, look, you have to believe or they're gonna fucking put us on the rack, they're gonna string us up, they're gonna hang us, like, if you don't, it's heresy. That's what they did. The whole Spanish Inquisition, all of that shit, where they went around Europe and was like, yo, look, this is, oh, you were spitting on the cross, we're gonna put you on the rack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they indoctrinated. These are men, though.
Yeah,
That's what I wanna-
That's men's.
that's what I wanna get
will.
to.
That's
That's-
men imposing their own will upon
That's-
each other.
So now we have to question the entire narrative, right? Was there someone named Jesus Christ? Absolutely, sure.
Mhm.
Was he this miracle worker? Was he this healer? Maybe not so much, but maybe he was more of a yogi, of a witch per se. Like, I don't want to say a witch, but like, someone that practices.
healer.
Yeah,
Seer. Whatever,
a seer, whatever you want to call them. But again, men hijack the story for power purposes. So, and especially it gets interesting when you get into the Catholic Church and the Knights Templar, because those were the mercenaries of the Catholic Church. You know what I mean? And then when the Catholic Church didn't need them anymore, they burnt them all at the stake too. And they were fighting to impose Christianity on Arab nations. Yo, Dusty. Hup. But again, we have to go prior to like any sort of Christian religion, even Judaism. We got to go prior to all that shit.
Yeah, we do. The old, because they're just iterations of the same thing. If you look at the game Monopoly, right? The Monopoly game was originally called the Landlord game, and it was created by a woman in the 1930s, or maybe a little bit before this. And then the Parker brothers come up with a new scheme and a new twist on it, and they reiterate it and they call it Monopoly. And then Monopoly gets new zany things like the Bob Ross edition. So if you look at the top three religions, you have Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Judaism being the original Landlord game, the Christianity being Monopoly, and then Islam being the zany newest edition of the same story, reiterated and told through a different perspective and sold to the masses.
But look how those stories alone though shift into a billion little subsects. You know what I'm saying? So everybody has their own interpretation. So even Christianity, Catholicism, you got like Lutheranism, you got fucking Baptists, you got fucking there's Mormons, the fucking Church of Latter-day Saints. Like, there's so many different interpretations of this story. But again, the story is of worship, of subserviency. Right. So if you don't worship Jesus Christ, and I'm just using him as an example, because it applies for all of them, Yahweh, fucking Allah. If you don't fucking get on your knees and worship,
that's human. That is human to do this. To be a lord, a king, all of these things are representations.
No, it's not
authority.
though. It's not, because if your consciousness is bigger than a human body, why would I kneel to anyone?
Exactly.
So right. So like, this is why religion took it and put it in a strong, like a fucking, you know what I mean? Like the dope fiend, because it was like, no, now we want you worshiping us. We're not giving you the information for free. You can't talk to God unless you come through me.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
That's where you're isolating the power of that humans have about in the mystery of God, like that, and you're harnessing that power for yourself and your own will, and doing this, like making a person bow to another human being, and 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 believing that this person their will is God's will. That it makes it you have to have a little bit of room in your head to believe that could be true, that God would have a presence as a human being on earth,
But
and
what
hence
if
the Messiah.
What if you are God though? What if all of us individually are God? Because God is one, right? God would be the singularity, right? So like, and if we are a creation of the singularity, then it's like stardust in a sense, like we're stardust, but we're attached to that singularity. We all share the hive mind, and allegedly we are all consciousness experiencing itself. That's it. Dusty.
Well, I think the foundations of it,
Come here, buddy.
I mean, in a sense, it's like, I think it's a higher power, or more advanced civilization as a blueprint to help us build this system. As you figure, back in the day, no rules, no laws, no whatever. It's a free-for-all. So you insert religion, you start building more morals. Like, I shouldn't kill this guy. I should be good to my neighbor. I should, it's kind of, I don't know. I think it was needed at some point to get us from like, just straight savages to more of where we are today. But like now, like, do you need it to know not to kill someone, or not to, be good?
Do we need those things to tell us that taking another person, dude? Okay, so I've learned twice in my life not to take a human life, and one was from Christianity and being one of the 10 commandments to thou shalt not murder or kill another person. And another one came into my life, and it wasn't just it goes even so much as to an ant or a mouse or another life form. You don't have justifies what in your existence allows you to be able to take anything else's life away from it. And when I realized that I had the power to kill this ant right now and end its life, what repercussion does the world have for not having this ant in existence anymore because I decided to end its life? Who am I to do this to another thing? And that's where my understanding of my good and evil comes from. It's just like, all right, so the vibration and the energy that I emit from striking this animal out of existence, it doesn't stop, buddy. It's very hard to understand where we get good and evil from, because it can be manifested in your own head. And
well, no. It exists in every single one of us, and especially the three of us can attest to that. We've had experiences of everyone, and I'm sure everyone listening can relate, where we've had experiences of evil in our life. Whether I don't want to say anybody's perpetrated real evil, you know what I mean? But again, everybody's experienced good and bad in their life. Every single person has had the question of like, yo, should I steal this candy bar?
Yep.
You dig what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
Even on the smallest scale, everybody's like, wait, what the fuck? Just take this thing.
Kids pick it up early too. They just know. I was looking at like gruesome shit that happened to kids. I'm like, God couldn't be okay with that. Only way God could be okay with that is if this realm really doesn't matter. Like, if they're just going somewhere else or coming back, then it really wouldn't be as gruesome as we think it is. Like, we think it's gruesome, but if you came back, or reincarnated as a bird, you're just on to your next iteration of life. Like, that's that baby and the harsh shit that happens out here. I'm like, Could God co-sign this shit? Like babies' heads getting smashed or burned.
No, there's no, absolutely not. There is no God out there letting a kid die or starve in Ethiopia with malaria infested water. You know what I mean? Like it's not happening, bro. Like
I wouldn't want to rock with that type of God anyway.
You know, and that's so. I think again, these are products of the environment we may have created for ourselves over our existence, you know. So like obviously there's what is it, homelessness, and feeding the hungry and shit like that. There's no reason we couldn't have gotten a grip on this shit already, right? So like why does it still happen? Why is there still all that suffering? And I just still don't feel like God, like why didn't the church go to Ethiopia and be like, hey, let's not hand out God, let's hand out what God would do. In a sense, nobody's showing up there and changing shit. Okay. Remember the Sarah McLachlan commercials, like the fucking like the make or not to make a wish. You can adopt a kid. What were they or not?
Adopted animal.
No, it was the kids, man. It was like the little kids in fucking
feet
in like third world countries, and it would be like, oh, donate 50 cents a day. And really 10 cents of the money may have seen the kid. But no God wants that shit.
No.
And that's why I feel like maybe these are products of how we got here throughout our evolution as humans. You know what I mean? Again, the Middle East used to be beautiful before fucking it got blew up.
Yeah, no, it's the same. Like, I'm going to read a Bible verse, like 1 Samuel 15:3, right? This is God's order. Now go attack the Amalekites and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Do not spare them. Put to death men and women, children and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys. That's wiping out everything that belonged to them. That's a directive from God.
Yeah, which is insane.
And it's insane that anything like that would be written in scripture, in something that.
What up, Cam?
How could that possibly be in there?
Well, no, but this is again. There's a wrath of God.
Is defeating evil only the only way to defeat evil is by using evil? Is the only way to rid violence?
Well, no, Johnny. Let's break it down real quick, right? So, if there was an all-being God and He created everything, there would be just a utopia. Why be evil at all? If we're creations of like this fucking creator, why would you even inject the evil? Why would anybody have the evil gene? Why would anybody have a thought of
because the only reason why light exists is because of darkness, the only duality.
It's the duality.
But you just answered your own question. It's the duality of human beings. Again, we all, every single one of us, have it inside of us. We have a decision to make every single day to be a good person, as opposed to being like, yo, we used to hustle, bro. Let me go fall into that quick money, or let me go, no, you got to turn around and do it the right way.
Yeah.
So, and that just applies just to everyday life.
I look at it too like matter and antimatter. You know what I mean? It's constantly
yin and yang, bro.
They meet, they're destroying each other. So like, I think part of it could be some shit's antimatter, some shit's matter, and it's not necessarily an evil. It's just that duality.
Yeah.
So that would go into saying that taking another person's life wouldn't be evil. It's just duality.
Well, no, if you're defending yourself and it's your life or theirs.
If you're in that, from what I'm understanding is if you're in that predicament and you have to take another person's life in order to save your own, you sacrifice yours.
Mhm.
that is the ultimate acceptance of reality. That is the ultimate. I am it. This I am not in control of this world. I am not going to impose my will, even if my life is going to be threatened from another being, and the only way to exterminate that is to kill this person. That I will never in my life ever be able to take an arm against another human being because of this, because of the way that my brain has understood that I see myself in another human being. And
Yeah.
if they're going to take my life because they feel, for whatever reason that they feel they need to take my life for, then it is that is their will, and I must submit to it. And that's just the way that the world, that if more people thought like that, nobody would have the iteration to take another person's life. That's how that stops.
Because you'd have the evil that are going to be like, oh wait, all these motherfuckers are going to lay down.
True.
Yeah.
Then that's where the absolute power starts to come in. It's just like, oh well, I can control all of these people because they submit, and I know that is the tool in order for me to control them. And that you're right, because that would, if I did live like that, I could end up being enslaved completely without my knowledge.
But that's why I feel like the not submitting is necessary. Because again, you have to have strong men create good times, or weak men create
tough times.
Tough times. You know what I mean? So there has to be a positive force that is willing to meet this negative force at that level. You know what I mean? And it sucks because violence begets violence. You know, but you can only defeat violence with greater violence.
All of the teachers, though, like Jesus, the Romans came to get him. He's like, nah, chill, don't fight. This is my destiny.
Exactly.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like all the great teachers, let them kill me.
But that's that's a different. That's you're.
He turned
that's
into a martyr. He didn't do it on purpose. It wasn't a purposeful act. That was, to me, it couldn't possibly have been purposeful for him to do such a thing. He had to show the world what the world was and how it is. He couldn't impose God or himself or any will beyond what the world was at the time. And in order to let people see, like, this is not right. This is not this way to be. He had to let things unfold the way that it did, because if he didn't and he stopped that from happening, would we know who he is? Would we know any of his teachings? Would we know anything about Jesus Christ? Possibly not, or possibly we would in such an all-powerful way that it would transform the way life is today. We would never know.
I feel like you yourself are Jesus Christ, like not you in particular, but every single person is that Jesus Christ. But again, how do you get people to worship you if they worship themselves? You know, so it's like we all have to kneel no matter what. Or your access to, say again, Johnny, in spirituality, in a sense, they make every psychedelic illegal, right? So anything that could actually help someone, like real psychedelics that could actually, like, it's been proven in studies in California, in PTSD, war veterans, shit is connecting people to different levels of reality, and it's changing people. But they ban that shit. They make that shit illegal, bro. They say, no, go to church. Go find God.
Yeah.
Why you gotta find God? You are God.
I don't know, because like when you go into, like, let's use DMT for an example. So like when you go into a DMT spin and you get shot off into this light, and you end up seeing these entities that are out there, and sometimes they're extremely fearful. Other times the presence is all loving and encompassing and beautiful. And when you start looking at the Tibetan Book of the Dead, it's like the second Bardo. It's you first you realize you're dead, and you're shot out into the wilderness, or the Everness, and that's the first Bardo. The second Bardo is when you're seeing all the different entities that are out there that are projections of your own mind and conscious. And then the third is when you get reincarnated back into your body. So like you don't go into a different one because you didn't actually pass on. You get put back into your own mind and body. And studying what happens in that, I believe, is the roadmap to understanding what happens to life after death. Is the study of anesthesia. What happens when we're sleeping? What happens when our body is not consciously aware of the things around? Because when we're sleeping, right, we're in a state that we're in a different realm. Our consciousness is not here. It's in a place that's fabricated only in our own minds. And when we come back, we realize that where we were was called a dream. And who's to say that in between different wakefulnesses and different physical bodies that we're in, it's not just a dream state that we're in. And when we come back, we just don't remember what the physical realm was before. And we just live a different life. And then it just continues on and continues on and continues on until one realizes that they're self-constructing absolutely everything that's around them, and their own beliefs, their own fears, everything. And then they get accepted into this light. Now, this acceptance into the light, I don't know what the purpose of this is, like why I'm needed for this light and why my spirit needs to be cleansed of all of this evil and needs to be shown all of these things in this physical realm.
Well, sorry to cut you off, Johnny, but from my understanding is that you have to learn that it is a projection of your mind. So like when you get into this bardo and you're starting to envision these entities, like you have to realize like this is kind of like the same thing we go through every day. Like this shit's fake, right? But you have to learn this in that bardo. And until you do, you'll experience all the entities. You'll experience the negative ones, you'll experience the positive ones, but it has to come, your consciousness has to come to the realization. It doesn't just happen. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, no, you had like, all right, man, we've been here for how long? No, I'm just making this shit up. You know, like,
Yeah.
But that's what it takes a lot of people to understand that, like a long time in the bardo.
What do you guys
like
think
4 or
about
6.
birth? Like, as I'm thinking too, like, you should think about the afterlife, but I always think about, like, what the fuck was it before I was here? I wasn't scared when I wasn't here.
Exactly.
I wasn't scared to come here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where did I come from? You know, where did we come from?
This is what's interesting about the dream world, though, is like our dreams, like a gateway to maybe a past life or, a future life. Because I've had weirdo dreams, bro, where like, I don't want to say, like, I'll just use Egypt, for example. I'm there. I might be one of the slaves building the pyramid. I might be, something like a pharaoh, who knows? But I feel like I'm there. It was real. It was like I'm like in ancient Egypt. You never had like a dream or something like that where like you were in some sort of reality that just maybe didn't make sense?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
That's what dreaming is.
It's just the way the brain constructs even the buildings and the cars and the people and the sounds and the smells, and it's like
gotta pee,
sleeping, bro.
Gotta pee, dude.
The buildings don't look fucked up.
Think about the first building ever built, ever constructed, right? It was probably what? A representation of a cave or something that gave a human protection from the elements. And then from that construction to become cities, and all the rest of the stuff just gets built on top of it to a point where it's unrecognizable from nature. It's mind blowing to like someone had to think like what can I take this and make it into to help me, and from that manifestation became a building. And then I thought of air flight, like, and then they put a fucking plane in the sky. Like, it's just we can go to the moon. Now we're on our way. Now
No,
Mars. It's just like what?
No, we can't.
All these different things.
It's just a lie.
Regardless of that we actually fathom in our minds, anything of that is possible.
This is what's interesting about the idea that if you
there we go.
We good?
Yeah.
Solid.
Everybody still there?
Mm-hmm.
We got 6 on X, 3 on YouTube,
Let's go.
1 on Twitch.
Fuck yeah. Shout out. Can't see Rumble though.
Can't see Rumble.
Shout out to the Rumble fam. They've been holding us down too, man, with the views. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys hit all of our social medias, the YouTubes, the fucking X's. If you feel like supporting the channel, man, there'll be Irv's gonna throw a link up on the stream, and you guys can hit that link as well. But this is what's cool about the nature of reality is that we have no fucking idea what's going on here.
No, we don't. There's nothing. You can't pull on any truth. There's nothing that I can say to you that you're just going to be like, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
No.
And for me to be in complete agreement with what you have in your mind, it's just never going to fucking work.
Well, back to Irv's birth thing. Like it's what is it, right? So are we just kicking the door in? This is like from a past life. You know, so like technically, like a younger person would be somebody into a new, like, would be the older soul in a sense.
Sure, but like, at what point does this conscious become aware of itself? So is it when the sperm hits the egg, or is it when a child is of, say, 9, 10 years old and understands I think, therefore I am? So like, when does the spirit actually encapsulate the physical body? So that is it at the point when the sperm hits the egg, like, or is it beyond this?
Well, I in my mind, the sperm has to go there. So it would be like, all right, something's conscious about the sperm trying to find the egg.
Yep.
Right. So like that would be to
or
me
is it pre-programmed,
or it's right, whatever. Whether it be nature, if that's just how we're
wrote
going.
the program now.
Yeah. You know, there's something conscious about that sperm trying to get to an egg, you know, to me at least, because otherwise it would just kind of be aimless in a sense. But is it another consciousness coming through? So is that's the tunnel? Like you bang, you say, you know what, this is, and that's what's interesting about like the birth lottery. In a sense, none of us chose to be born to who we were born to.
How do we know this? How do we know that? That's the point.
Or
that's the point of the third Bardo. The third Bardo is figuring out what physical life I'm going to take on next. That's the third Bardo of the Tibetan Book of the Dead. So like that's like if you were, it says that if you were born, say, into an anger, if this life you were in an angry thing and you didn't break that cycle, and then the next Bardo, you're naturally going to choose a life that is going to have the anger embellish you tenfold in order for you to realize that you need to break this cycle.
Right.
And that it's all about
it's reincarnation, right?
So it's like, all right, so cycle breaking. So it's just like, I gotta get rid of anger, and that makes it so that the cycle of me being reincarnated stops, and I become one with whatever it is.
No, it's the next ticket though. It's like, so yeah. It's not even just anger. It's a multitude, and I guess it's the cliche idea of becoming one with yourself. Yeah. Because it's the anger, and then it's like, wait, there's this other trauma, or there's this other thing you didn't work on, or you didn't ascend past.
It couldn't only just be one thing; it's got to be a spectrum.
Yeah.
It's a whole spectrum of things. Because some people even the most if you look at like Gandhi or someone else that is of this kind of being. You can always find a fault in the way that they are, because when Gandhi stopped eating, he was disrespecting the body that he had to a point where I don't know why he was doing it. Maybe to get more recognition of his path or what he's doing. Have
you seen the cats that did the self mummification?
No.
Shut up.
No.
Or see if you could throw that up.
Self mummification.
So there was Buddhist monks, bro, that what they did was they would starve themselves in a sense. They would only eat like nuts, berries, like weird shit. When they were getting ready to die, they would literally, there's one on display in somewhere in Tibet, but they were these Buddhist
mummy.
What?
Buddhist mummies.
Yeah. They did this self mummification where like it was like their ascension, they would do a series of prayers, certain shit. Then they would put themselves in a hole in the ground and literally take the tubes out of the ground. They'd be in there for a couple days with I don't know, like there was certain materials they put in there, but almost embalm them. And then sure enough, dude, they'd take the tubes out, come back like 5 days later, and homie's fucking mummified, just a statue like this, but he said that was his way of attaining spiritual oneness.
I understand this because that's getting rid of all desire and fear.
Everything.
So
Everything.
And so another thing that they start practicing is getting rid of desire and fear to a point of not eating food and not drinking anything. Because in reality, when you're eating and drinking something, you're consuming, you're destroying. So some people go to such an extremist belief that they feel that even nourishment is wrong. And they can actually trick their brain into thinking this to a point where they die from not eating or drinking.
Shout out to Kayla. I just saw she left a comment for us on YouTube. What up, Mazzy's Garden? And this is what's crazy, man. Is like I would love to know. It's weird too. You guys ever seen those kids that have the past life stories?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like the fucking, there's like one really notable one where like the kid was like a fucking soldier in World War II. Like he was flying against the Japanese.
I think I just saw this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how true it is, but the kid basically was born, and he was obsessed with planes. After so long, like the parents, I can't remember the name, so paraphrasing, but they would be like, "Hey, Johnny, you know what I mean? Like, do this, blah, 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 blah." And he'd be like, "Look, that's not my name. My name's like Frank or something, And they'd be like, "No, what are you talking about?" And the little homie would be like, "No, I lived this whole life.
I flew this exact kind of plane over this exact course, going this velocity."
They remember.
And
They found a body or some shit like that. They found like a plane crash, around the coordinates where he said
crashed into the ocean, correct?
Yeah.
So they wipe our memory. Sometimes the system fucks up and somebody slips through the cracks.
Yeah, it's crazy to think like how okay, so I've had one out of body experience in my life, right? And this was I used to be an IV heroin addict, and when I was consuming heroin, I had overdosed, and I was in the Stewart's parking lot on Knott Street in Schenectady, and when I remember when I put the drug inside of me, I felt, oh no, like this. Oh no! I knew right there, like I did too much. Like this now, and then this feeling of fear engulfed me, and then it just went, it obliterated into absolutely no feeling at all, just observation. And where I was about 30 feet above where I was in reality. I was in my car and I was unconscious in my car. And I was floating above and I was observing, and I could see a police car drive up next to me and an ambulance follow it. And the police officer step out of his car and he adjusts something on his hip here. And then he looks into the window and sees me, and then fright comes over his eyes, and he knocks on the window. 1, 2, the third knock went, and then everything that I was visiting just started to disintegrate, and I started to go right back into my body. And when I did, I opened my eyes and I made contact with the police officer. He opened the door and I fell into his arms, and he saved my life with Narcan. And that alone, like that made me realize that there is so much more to the world than what we're seeing and what we're observing, and how our brain works when we're not conscious. It takes all the rest of the senses that we have and it makes a picture in our mind. The smell, the vibrations that we feel, the sounds, they create an exact image of what's actually happening.
It doesn't sound like a dream.
And it sounds exactly like
it's a dream state. It's a dream state.
It is, but it's different from a dream because you're perceiving real things that are happening in this reality.
Maybe
it really did happen. Like
no, I know it did happen. I know that was your experience. You know what I mean? But if we're talking
what's the difference?
What's the difference?
experiencing and
You know, it's the wildest thing, man. The same thing with DMT. It's like you can almost look back at your body and be like, yeah, like you feel like you died. You know what I mean? And then it's like, oh shit, wait, okay.
But isn't it funny how, like, when your ego dies in a trip like this, right? It takes like what 3-4 days for it to come back and start engulfing all of everything again, and then like everything that you had just learned in the DMT experience evaporates.
Yes and no. I guess it depends on the person, really. You know, because even when like I start to feel that, like, because there's always some level of ego. You know, always, like, you could try to completely smash it, but you find yourself in little nuanced ways being egotistical or triggered or, you know, whatever. But once back to check it again, I think it's now I'm more conscious of it. Like, oh wait, dude, you are like you're fucking speck in a universe. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? You know what I mean? Like, who do you think you are? Dude?
But in all reality, who do I think I am? What if I think that I am what if I think I am God? So like,
you are God.
So that just contradicts everything you just said. Like, it's fucking nuts. Like, everything, it's duality. Like that's the explanation I found. Then again, going through the Hindu Vedas, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, all of it. The only thing that I've found in correlation between all of them is love, being able to accept love and give love. That is how peace is obtained, and with that love, it comes with the vibration that love gives, allows the brain to be able to focus on things that are extraordinary, that you don't have a vibration coming in that's like Dusty digging a little thing and interrupting anything. You have the direct path to be able to absorb information and not get distracted on it.
Yeah, Dusty incarnated as a dog because he's a fucking jerk. No, yeah, man, it's one of the most fascinating conversations ever. You know, is the nature of reality, existence, life, death, birth. You know, I've always theorized for us, when you die in this existence, you almost like wake up in another one.
Yeah,
you know, like, so
Yeah.
it's like you go to sleep, you die one day, and then the next day you wake up and it's still the same thing. You're gonna go to the barber shop, you're gonna go to the fucking do everything. It's maybe, who knows if it's just on repeat or if it's, you know.
Well, that's like we exist in a multi universes at the same time theory. It's like we're doing everything at the same time,
and only consciously aware of it when we're in this perspective of the observer. So like, if you go from this one, there's no recollection from when I'm Johnny to when I'm Irv to when I'm Edwin to
don't matter.
It's just
what we're
it's like, yo, I'm an airplane pilot.
Yeah.
Or
but no,
I mean, this
it's for real though.
I'm a famous actor. Like,
yo, fucking A, dude, that's up there's an infinite amount of possibilities. Like, you couldn't even, like, dude, there's one where in one reality, I'm a chick, you're a dude, you're a dude, you're a chick, you're a chick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, why do we wait? When we go to sleep, how do we know to come back into this thing? How do I know that I don't wake up as Irv and then end up going to sleep and wake back up as me? And
well, no, you do.
Go into each one of the 8 billion people on the earth, and then
listen, every time you come together with that person, you share experiences, though. So whether when you say Irv pops in with the kids to get a haircut, you guys are sharing a life experience together. So it's like, either way, in some way, shape, or form, you are Irv. Irv is you
at that moment,
and always. And again, there's a familiarity. So, like, for example, when we have our friend groups, like, we know when there's someone that's like, all right, Dusty, we know when the energy is whack. right? We know when the energy doesn't fit us or it's not familiar in a sense, you know, then familiar energies come together.
It's the vibrations, energy fields.
Yeah.
It's wild, man, because it's like we're always searching for that meaning of life. You know what I mean? So all of these different things, it's like, what's the basis, man?
What is the point?
What is the true basis of this shit?
What am I really here for, man?
What's
am I
everybody
really
think
here to
out
go
there?
shopping at fucking
Leave a
Walmart?
comment.
Like, am I really here so I can go and I can be like, yeah, I'm the biggest dick there is. I got this, I got that. Wow. How is that an identity?
Life is one big dick measuring
I
contest.
lost that shit. Like, I always wanted to be like, yeah, I want to make mad money. I want to do this. I want to fucking get it. I want to whatever, all that shit. And then now I lost it. And then I'm like, how the hell am I going to still have that
drive to continue?
Do
it's
it?
a different drive, though. It's a different
It is
drive.
a different drive.
It's a different drive because, again, you know you're not going to go and waste your precious moments chasing those dollars.
Yeah.
Now, you dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, the moments you can't get back with your kids, with your family, with your fucking
Friends.
people. We're talking about death. It comes out of fucking nowhere. And it snatches people. So again, this is why we do it. You know, this is why we do this shit.
Like, I was cutting someone's hair the other day. He has stage 4 back cancer, and he doesn't have much left to live. He was about to go on hospice, but he denied it. And he's just like, as long as I can continue walking around and doing my thing, I'm going to continue doing it because I'm not going to become bedridden and all the rest of this stuff. And when I saw this man do this, instead of succumbing to the modern medical world and being and submitting to a doctor's word and saying you need to do this, it broke a little something in me because when my grandmother had cancer, she ended up getting on hospice, was bedridden, all the rest of this stuff, and allowed the agony and the pain to control her so much that she couldn't get out of bed. But at what point was it that the cancer took over to the point where she couldn't walk? Because it had to have been well after the fact that she had been bedridden.
Well, this is the quality of life talk. You know, at what point is a person, you know, at what point can you, it sucks to say, but pull a plug on a person? Do you let them suffer through all of that, you know, or do you let them go? And there's always the argument of like the euthanasia in a sense with humans. But at the same time, there's people that are like, no, you know what? I just want to get out of here, man. You know, like what is it? One of the countries got the suicide pods. You jump up in the suicide pod, press a couple buttons, maybe put some music on.
Yeah.
You got it in Canada now.
That's where it is, right?
Like, if you look at my ex-girlfriend, Rosa, right, getting in the car accident and getting into a coma, and she's still in one now, from 2022 till now, she's still alive because of modern medicine and the way that things are. But is she consciously there? You can't say that she is or she isn't because she doesn't respond to things. And you can't tell if she's absorbing senses and she knows that you're there or not. And if I were stuck into a point like that, like, I don't think that existing would be something that I'd want to continue on any further, unless there was some kind of thing that made it so that, like, being in that state made sense. Like, I was observing something and how humans interact with each other and how I'm being cared for that I needed to learn in order to evolve.
Well, we need to look at, though, is this, again, whose decision is it to keep you in that state?
Whose decision is it to keep you alive?
Well, this is what I'm saying, though. Is it's like me personally, if I was in that, and I'm just saying, if I was in that state, I'd tell my kids, yo, pull the plug.
Yeah.
Listen, if I didn't wake up from the coma after a certain period of time, pull the plug. Homie's gone. Homie's out.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to sit there and put that suffering on my family. And I don't think most people would.
No.
You know, and it's like, yeah, sure, maybe there's a hope. You might wake up one day, a hope, but whose hope is it? who's driving that process. You know what I mean? So it's like for me, I would say I would like be like, yo, pull the plug, send me off to wherever I'm going.
Uh-huh.
You know, I joke with my kids all the time, like, yo, as soon as I start shitting on myself, take old Yeller out back. Put a bullet in him and call it a wrap. I'll see you guys later.
Well, Jay, that's how my dad was, dude. Like, he had cancer from Agent Orange in the Air Force. And, like, once he, like, couldn't control his shit, like, it was almost like he chose it. Once he said, like, I'm good,
yeah,
like 3 days, just chill, like super, super peaceful. Like, I was by his side, you know what I mean? His last breath, that was different, you know what I'm saying? Like, just seeing, like, my pops take his last breath.
the gravity
But
of
knowing
the
that,
situation.
like, he was ready and he was at peace. He was like, I'm good money. Like, I lived a hell of a life. Like, you know what I mean? My family's here. Like I'm going. Like, but from the moment he chose to stop fighting, it's like he was like
Free.
See you later.
But he was into martial arts. He was into yin and yang and working on your inner self and being at peace and oneness. So, like, I could see him doing that, like, or practicing over his life. But, like, that was, like, really, it was hard for me to see him, like, I'm good. Like, I'm shitting myself. I ain't trying to live like this. I'm a man. You know what I mean? So
let me go out on my shield.
Yeah.
Let me go out on my shield,
Yeah.
man. You know,
Yeah.
even if it is as trivial as a thought process like that, it's like, no, let me go out like a G.
Yeah. Yeah, you said it. So once I start checking shit, I'm done.
Yeah, and not only that, man, but it's like really, and I try to explain, like, at least have these conversations with my kids. Is like, look, man, like, this ain't it. Our energies are intertwined. You know what I mean? So no matter what. So, like, yes, am I going to be around always? No. But at the same time, just know that the next stop, chances are you're going to be with me too. The roles might be reversed. You might be my dad. You might be, you know what I mean? Like, who knows? Like, but at the same time, the energy carries on. And this reality is, I say it all the time, this shit's fake as fuck, man. We live in like almost like a soap opera-ish type reality. Everything's drama, no matter what, whether it comes to politics, people, fucking
whatever.
But these are the distractions that get us away from our spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
the Dusties.
I can see him making it hard on you to meditate.
Yo, Dusty straight grabbed the knife over here. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, oh, your guys got jokes? My past life, I was a murderer.
Yeah, right. Still got my fucking knife game. No.
Yo, but like, my dad's still here through me. Through my kids, you know what I'm saying? So, like, sometimes when I'm watching or looking out through my eyes, I am my dad. Like, I'm like, holy shit. Either I'm sitting like him or, like, I just feel like I'm him looking through. Like, almost he's in there looking through, which is nuts, too, because it's like some people's great-grandfathers were alcoholics. Then it passes to the next generation, and it passes to the next generation. And then somebody stands up and they're like, I'm not fucking drinking. Or I'm not going to be a deadbeat dad. Like, generations of deadbeat dads. You know what I'm saying? Like, my great-grandfather was a deadbeat. Walked out, didn't do shit. My grandfather, his wife died young. He raised all 4 kids dolo. You know what I mean? My dad did his fucking thing. Now I'm doing my thing. So we broke that deadbeat father.
And imagine
in this realm,
the type of
it's
love.
a cycle break. It's
right.
fucking there's so much power in that.
Yeah.
It's so powerful to be able to break that cycle, to be able to break something that's consistently happening on a wheel.
And it's so much bigger too, because there's so many people involved. There's so many energies involved, right? So your dad's energy, your energy, the kids' energy, right?
Yeah.
And then when your sons have kids and they're loving on their kids, it's so different than like what you experienced. It's like, even in a sense, because all of our parents they were all raised different. You know what I mean? But the amount of love they can show because they never had to go through those hardships.
Another crazy one too is it's like great grandfather gets shot at the bar, the dad gets shot at the fucking bar, son gets shot at the bar. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
It's someone not breaking the cycle.
Or mom dies.
So
car crashes.
This is the weird part about.
That's different.
Yeah,
that's circumstance instead of self-infliction.
It's so weird, though,
but
bro.
if it's going generation to generation,
that's
it's so weird. It's almost like the lottery. It's almost like the untimely death lottery. It's like it's car accident, fucking, and we all have been in those experiences where it's like, oh shit, that was a near miss.
Yep.
Whew.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
In some other reality, bro,
that was
smacked.
That shit happened.
But then you get shit where it's like, nah, don't go there in the head.
Yeah.
Or don't do that.
Yeah, because
shit happens. Damn, I'm glad I listened.
Yeah. Or if you didn't listen, it's, the opposite reaction happens, and I think that's the universe and its balance, but it's so weird, man. It's so weird how, I guess death is chosen in a sense. There's obviously a lot of factors, health factors, fucking shit like that, but like still there's like even the good die young, man, tragic accidents, shit gets weird, bro. We've seen a lot of fucking celebrities die lately. Ton of celebrities.
Yeah, but there's the old saying that only the good die young, only pertain to those that haven't existed long enough to obtain evil.
No, I don't know, man, because to be honest, I think again everyone is inherently built in with that emotion. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like, I guess the good die young. It depends on who's telling who's good.
Who's good?
It's like, let's like look at it in terms of like the Egyptian way. Like when you get there and you can balance your heart against a feather. Mm-hmm. Were you really a good motherfucker? Or were you, you know what I mean? Because everybody has both sides of them.
Yeah, because if you're with the U.S. now, bro, we're bombing for all of our lives in the name of democracy. Yeah. We're the good guys. But we kill millions of civilians. But we're the good guys.
When I look at, I don't even want to talk on that because of the light that gets put on you from it. Like it's so. If you were to say that the government was a serpent-like type of evil, that just was a faculty of something other than us that allows us to be controlled in such a way that justifies taking life with drones, justifies doing all the horror, Agent Orange, all of this fucking shit. Religion. It's just in the name of what? Because the only thing that I, as a human being, can understand another human being actually taking another one's life for is the ignorance of the lack of resource. If you don't have water, you're going to fucking do anything you can in order to acquire it for yourself and your family. And if that means taking over a tribe and just murking them or enslaving them, you're going to do it. Like, and that's like now that we have such abundant access to resource and the way that things are in our time, why would we want to go take over another place unless that place was going to like threaten our resource? So like that.
Well, this is the inherent greed of humans, so like this again, power is corrupting. So like these people, it's God's not making a decision. You know what I mean? Like, so like when it comes down to it, Trump is the guy going to bomb Houthis. You know what I mean? And then saying, praise God, man, you know, we're going to go to this national Christian breakfast type shit, you know, and, but, you know, it's power, man. It's people. So again, when you can't break away from actually being in this weirdo umbrella of a society instead of being humans, conscious humans, like just, you know, like it's almost sad to say we got to get back to like the tribal nature of like just being involved with each other, like not like killing and shit, you know what I mean, but community based. Like our shit is like so far out of whack that like it's easy for everybody to say, well, dude, it's God's fault, you know, and blame God, you know. And then in the Middle East and shit like that, it's crazy, bro, because we're a Christian nation, you know. Most people wouldn't call it that, but you know, and we're fighting Arabs again. It's just like the Holy Wars, bro.
Exactly.
Just like those Knights Templar.
Still going.
Still going.
The same story over.
That's what sucks about
Monopoly,
this place.
The landlord game, Monopoly, over and over, different renditions of the same fucking thing, over and over again, to the point where you have songs that are the same exact tune, the same chord progressions, the same tempos. The words are a little bit different, but the message is the same. And it's just like, okay, well, is it about love or fear? Because that 99.9% of all songs that have any substance, that's what they are about. And it's just different renditions, no matter where you look, of the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's a lot of repetition for sure.
Yeah,
but that most computer code would be, right?
So I think that's where the cycle of reincarnation and the cycle of rebirth comes, is because our sole understanding of the world are loops and circles. So like, and the things, this happened now, it'll just be another amount of time till it happens again. So like, and the same thing with life. So and that now I understand where reincarnation was fathomed, and where the thought of that came from is from cyclical thinking, and it's mind blowing thinking about it.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in for sure. And the Buddhist teachings, I've always felt have probably been closer to what is accurate than most religions. And guess what? There's only one way to find out, is to study the shit, you know, meditate.
Well, if you look at, just say Christianity versus Buddhism, right? You got Christianity with the 10 Commandments, Buddhism saying, you know what's right and wrong. Like, Christianity just laying out the fact of right and wrong and getting rid of all selfish desires, like thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, thou shalt not steal. These are all things that in Buddhism you're taught just to relinquish desire, any and all type form. In Christianity, they just give you 10 of them, and they're just like, don't do these things. So they're all renditions of the same fucking thing, just in different words from different times, from different people and cultures.
Yeah, and it goes back way further than just these guys, you know, like, again, they had this. And if you look at even in the topic of like the Freemasonry shit, is like, these are ancient mystery schools, bro. Like, these are the holders of the knowledge, in a sense, because they've carried it for generation after generation after generation after generation. Mm-hmm. And it's rituals, it's certain deities, it's the G doesn't necessarily stand for God.
And Hiram Biff was killed for not relinquishing the truth, the secret word, and that word must have been the word that God spoke into existence to create reality. When God said, let there be light, there was light. But God did what? He spoke. He said something in order to create that light to happen. So the word that Hiram Biff was killed for in ancient and Freemasonry folklore.
Yeah, you don't get too crazy.
I'm not going to dive deeper than that. But like the reason why that exists is because the real truth was already in existence on this realm, and it was held by people that were creating things that were huge, massive, and couldn't make any sense. How do you build a fortress? How do you build a castle? How do you do all of this stuff? Who taught you how to do this? So the word must be a metaphor representation of what the explanation of truth, reality, existence, all of this stuff is.
Yeah.
And so the trying to find what that is,
Takes
I
work,
don't I
bro.
don't know if it's just another rat race to get yourself involved in.
If you ask, excuse me, if you, I obviously I don't know how many monks you know, but most of the popular monks out there will say, no, you can attain, enlightenment. You can attain enlightenment, and they do it all the time. It's just a matter of practice and dedication to what you're doing. Because again, meditation isn't easy. I'm sure anybody out there that's tried it, it's not easy to calm the mind, especially, and this is why I've always said it's a system of control, because if you can calm your mind, you can unlock parts of your brain that, is maybe a little bit more supernatural than society would let you believe, and as they're proven now was, I don't know if you guys seen that telepathy tape shit. You see telepathy tapes? They're like, basically, I don't know, did you see those?
No.
So essentially what they're doing is they're taking kids, I believe, with autism and some other I don't know, conditions, and what they'll do is they'll hold like cards up behind their back and be like, yo, what's on the card? And the kids hyper focus this way, and they're telling them what's on there, and every single time, like, it's incredible, but again, maybe this kid actually really does have a superpower in autism, and it's, I'm not saying this is always the case, but they're always really, 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 really good at something. Super good at something. But again, they're just on like a different wavelength than us. So maybe they just can't harness the fucking processing power that's happening. It's almost like an upgrade in a sense.
Can
You
upgrade?
Right.
Elon Musk has got Asperger's, so it's a form of autism. So
There's
Mm-hmm.
countless
there's
cases.
so many of them.
Yeah, there's countless cases. But that's what I'm saying is you're unlocking a part of your brain that is, they say, even the CIA said it, telepathy, fucking telekinesis, shit that they spent real bread on, dude. And was like, remote viewing. Like the remote viewing.
Astral projection.
Yeah, so the remote viewing, bro, they would hand cats a manila envelope with some coordinates on it and say, yo, what's at this target? And the guy would just be in a dark room, and they just described the Ark of the Covenant. They like found the Ark of the Covenant in the 80s. And the dude gave a perfect description of it, all the shit around it, but they never released where.
They did it with Saddam Hussein too.
They found Saddam when he was in his foxhole.
Exact building, hole,
Near the
what he
river.
was dressed in,
Yeah.
the gun he had,
Cash. The
cash he had with him, everything.
Amount of cash, yeah.
But they had like 10 of these guys together, and that's how we found them.
Holy
Some
shit.
psychic mind shit.
Well, right. And then this was like another reason why I was kind of falling off on the Lou Elizondo thing, was because he admitted to like using psychic shit on Gitmo prisoners, on Guantanamo Bay prisoners. Like they had some psychic operation where they got like 6 or 7 dudes together and they invaded dudes' brains, bro. They invaded dudes' minds. They like were able to project themselves into dude's mind, and even the prisoners gave interviews and were like, "Yo, they made me feel like a cat was penetrating me."
Yeah. And one guy said he saw an angel with a sword, like straight wings, everything, but they were projecting that to him.
Holy shit.
And this is CIA shit. And that's why I was like fucked up with Lou Elizondo, because that's some crazy shit, and like just makes me feel like he's He's hitting us with the okey doke, like he's the CIA op.
Well, you look at MK Ultra and everything, right? With the LSD experiments and all the rest of the mind control stuff they do with it, and then you start to understand exactly why these substances are illegal, because of the immense power that they allow you to understand you already have, and without them, the state of meditation one needs to be into in order to get there is almost unfathomable, but is still attainable. But in order to get there, like the quick cliff notes, like let's get there fast, like that happens from a psychedelic experience. Nothing else in the world has brought me anywhere close to seeing how we're all connected to each other, how my feelings are engulfed in yours, and how your energy, when it mixes with mine, it changes mine. Without me understanding these things, without my psychedelic experiences in life, I think I'd still have a little understanding of these things, but it wouldn't be amplified to the point of me understanding them as almost truth.
Yeah, once you take the step, and depending on what you're doing, they all have their way of bringing you somewhere else. But once, there's no way to really go back afterwards. No. Whatever was experienced, mushrooms too. It's like, you have a good shroom experience, bro, and it's like shit changed. Something happened. Something happened in the psyche where it's like, oh man, we just saw fucking a new dimension.
Like when I'm under the influence of those things, I start to really see the harm that I cause myself. And it comes fully apparent that me vaping is not good. Like it is unhealthy, and it is not a good thing for me to do. And nothing else in the world really tells you that, except for other people getting harmed from it. So there's realization of a cycle that needs to fucking break. There's nothing in the world that'll help you better. That's why people are doing ibogaine and ayahuasca to stop their extreme addictions to things and chemicals.
Ibogaine is crazy for that shit. Ibogaine was crushing heroin. Like people would go get ibogaine treatments for heroin and be like, "Yeah, I'm cured. Never touch it again."
Yeah, but then something inside, like I did a lot of study on this because I wanted to go try the ibogaine thing when I was engulfed in this. But what I found was a bunch of people that were going to Canada, other places to do the ibogaine treatment. They would go through this extreme trip and craziness and come to the realization that yes, this is going to kill me. If I want to die, I got to continue. But then something happens over the course of 2-3 weeks where that fucking vanishes and it's not permanent, and then they end up back into the same exact cycle that they just broke.
Yeah, I'm sure. There's the outliers, who actually make it through, and I'm sure a lot of people do still struggle. It's like one of them ones, man. It's dope is one of them ones, man, where it gets you, gets the fucking hooks in you, and it's a wrap. Not everybody beats the shit, but psychedelics do help in aiding in trying to get your brain back on track at the very least, and and everybody needs an ego death. I've said it for years. If everybody had a psychedelic experience, the world would be a completely different place. If our leaders, I felt like it should be a requirement for the president of the United States to have an ayahuasca trip. Just take this ayahuasca retreat. And then look, I got you. We wouldn't be bombing the Houthis right now.
So what would happen if one went into one of these trips and they started to see evil and horror and they were delighted by it? Mm-hmm. So a psychopath, right? Like how does that work?
So I don't think we can relate. To be honest, I don't think any of us can really have an honest perspective on that, because I think you have like a psychopath, like a real psychopath, serial killer type, like you just can't be with society type shit. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's like an outlier for us. You know what I mean? We're considered normal. You know what I mean? So it's like what's short circuiting in that brain? That's like
that thing. Like think about a sadist. They think about ripping apart another human's body just for the pleasure of their agony. So like where does that come from? How does that?
Because I think it's cultivated. One, first of all humans have a tendency for violence and destruction. first, right? But then when we get into like look at like the Coliseum, they would send the lion in to fight 3-4 guys. You watch these guys get mauled by a fucking lion. You know what I mean? So inherently, people are about that shit. But then you cultivate it through media and Hollywood and shit like that. Like, what was it? I went and seen Mariah wanted to go see the Terrifier, right? And we go and see this shit, and it was like the dumbest fucking movie I've ever seen in my life, but super gory, like super gore. Like blood squirting everywhere. They're fucking hanging chicks upside down, sawing them in half. Like it was like the craziest shit ever. And I'm like, what? But you're cultivating it. Horror movies, fucking, people watching people get stabbed in the face. Like,
Yeah. What's the point, right?
Yeah. And then that's when you really start to find your subcultures. Who's really fucking super into serial killers, like who's idolizing Ted Bundy. You know what I mean? Like, all right, dude, if that's your idol, that's kind of strange to me. Like Ted Bundy, and I know a couple folks, that would fuck around and like be like, oh, dude, yeah, Ted Bundy. Like, no, dude, like there's real people out there though that like worship these people.
That's crazy because there's some people that would say that evil doesn't exist inside of a human being truly, but it does.
Oh, it does.
It 100% does. And you're right, it does get cultivated because like one isn't born with an inherent desire to rip another person's body apart. I think it comes from a lack of power when they're younger, and like maybe pain was inflicted upon them, and the person that gave them that pain had a power in their mind that they wanted to attain so badly that they just cycled and put the cycle onto somebody else, and it was just like, all right, I'm going to do this to them because that's going to give me the power that this person must have had when they were doing it to me, or something like that. Maybe not to them, but watch it happen to another person.
What do you think?
It just sounds like it's everything that can exist, man. Like all these discussions and topics that we touched on tonight, just seems like it's just a soup bowl of shit.
Yeah. We started about death. And then we go into all the rest of this shit. We just explained life. Like we were supposed to explain death.
Well, yeah, no, listen, I mean,
Death is life.
But it is.
Duality.
Like you said, it's the duality of everything. It's you can't have one without the other.
Nope.
Yeah. I think about like what if there was a planet where they didn't have this shit. They just had like straight peace. They worked together, shared their resources. How would that planet be? Like if that was here and that's how where would we be? Will we be in the future already?
I think it already exists in the future. So in my mind, it's like the past, present, and future are all happening at the same time. So how many times do we have to learn the lesson before we make it to being that advanced civilization? And that's why it's funny with the UFO theory too. Like it's us coming back.
Yeah. And
dipping in on the fucking prehistoric times.
It's acceptance.
Or like think of it as like a school. It's college, bro. Oh, yo, fucking go back.
Seems like a proving ground for sure.
Yeah. But it sucks because they put you in the survival of a fittest situation and then say be enlightened. Duality, man.
Do well, my child.
You got to survive out here, bro, but you just got to be enlightened.
Lead with love and peace.
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. And these are conversations that will always continue and evolve because we're all still living out the human experience, at least in this reality. But do your research, man.
Yeah, figure out what it is you believe, and then let us know. Just type in on the computer. It's like, hey, the only way we'll ever find out is by starting this conversation and letting it just go into the world. And starting the conversation and putting more light onto it, more attention to it, the more people will build on it. The more people will dedicate time in their life to understanding it more and being able to shed that to other people. That's beautiful. There's nothing better than this.
Well, a big mission of ours is to try to open up as many minds as possible. Whether it doesn't matter about what we're talking about. If we can open your mind in any way, shape, or form to think about something like this, because again, we're the minority. The masses are still asleep, bro. The masses are still in the matrix.
They don't question much like that.
They don't they don't question anything.
I know.
Nope.
And shout out to everybody out there that's part of the movement, and trying to open. We are in the age of information right now.
It's crazy because if you go back a couple 100 years from now, this conversation would have had all of us beheaded and burned at the stake.
Fucking
all of us in the middle of
In
all
the
of
door.
our families, our kids watching everything. They just gone. Like it's the freedom we have right now to be able to talk about that. It's just we need to take full advantage of this and just continue talking about it. Like because we don't know anything about this. Like look at where our conversation went. It went like that, just like I thought it would. Because I was just like, there's no direction for this conversation tonight. It's gonna go in every fucking which way, in alley, crowd, everywhere it could.
That's why we keep it light, though.
Yeah.
That's why we, because again, we want to work through it and try to figure it out together. And everybody that tunes in, they're here trying to figure it out with us, and then hopefully by the end of an episode we can come to some sort of conclusion in a sense. But no, these are all the nature of reality. You can never have a conclusion.
I have more questions now.
Yeah,
It's a good thing.
too, dude. And it just started like when my aunt passed away a couple of weeks ago, and I had a dream that I had died, and my perception of reality was fragmented. But I was still here, walking around. Nobody could hear me, but I was still in existence. There's that type of fucking thing happening around me, and I'm just like, okay, so like if this is my spirit when it's dead, and I don't have a physical body. What does it mean? Am I stuck here, or like what does this mean? And that just made it so that I had to think.
Bro, it's scary though. I'm sure everyone can relate. The thought, like when I don't know if for you guys, but when I start to think of when I'm not going to be here, this shit is scary.
It's petrifying.
What's going on?
What's going on?
And I can't do a damn thing about it.
But again, these are part of some of the attachment issues we have.
Because this is all we know.
This is all we know.
Yeah.
This is the only reality we know outside of our dream world.
I wish there was a way for if we did travel in a different realm. Like it's say just to start with dreams, to be able to know that we're in the dream. Have you ever had a lucid dream before?
So I can't honestly say that I've had a dream that I controlled, because that's what a lucid dream is.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you're in control of the dream.
You realize that you're in
no,
a dream and you can control it.
I can't honestly say that I
So
have.
like
No.
my understanding of enlightenment is when you are in reality, you're lucid dreaming. So like you can create everything and anything that you need to just out of the fruit of your mind.
Ether.
Just
Yeah.
like this.
I mean, you are now though.
Yeah.
You are now. Think about it like this: this apartment we're in right now was a creation of your mind at one point, and now we're experiencing it.
That's true. That's 100% true. So
That's what I'm saying, bro.
It is.
Who we got still with us, Irv? Who we got? Anybody with us? Still?
Yeah, we got 8 on X, 1 on YouTube, 1 on Twitch. We didn't get the weird comment tonight.
Oh, that's cool.
No bots.
Yes.
No bots tonight.
Listen,
That might be our guy who checks us out.
yeah, no, yeah. If he is, then leave a comment. There was like the first time we ever streamed on Twitch, we picked one up immediately.
Yeah, don't Kayla do the other side? We should do that shit.
The what? Like
Medium.
Yeah, I believe she does.
We should all do that.
We could. We
Johnny?
we do know a medium.
I'm down. I'm down 100%
We'll
down.
do a cast and talk to some people.
Well, we could do a reading too. Like she could do
Do
her
a reading,
She
yeah.
can do it because she does the tarot and shit like that.
Talk to some people. Ask them.
Listen, it would be really cool, you
Getting their
know.
perspective would be fucking awesome.
That'd be dope, right?
Especially the truth of their perspective. I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, I would like to open that up to like a bunch though. Like see if we can get a few.
A few heads in.
Yeah, like well, maybe one at a time, you know, but at the same time, like maybe get a few different people that have some spiritual extras, I guess.
Oh, that'd be okay.
You know, or we can get the Ouija board up in this bitch.
Pass on the Ouija.
No, that's the listen, and this is the weirdest shit about our reality is that a fucking stupid game by like fucking Mattel or I don't even know. It can fucking summon demons. like what is going on there? Is it the energy of the people together?
It must be like the connected belief on the same thing that it's happening that allows the Ouija board
Right. They have to be manifesting it
together.
right?
Yeah.
So is this like a mass hallucination? Like in a sense?
I don't know. There's no way to prove or disprove it. There's
I know.
not, no matter who anybody can sit down and have this conversation, and what they are saying can be 100% true.
Could be.
So like
It is.
it's just fucking
It's whatever, bro.
What do we define as truth? Something we all agree upon?
Truth would be considered, or fact would be considered like an agreed upon reality, I guess.
1 times 1.
Yeah. That Terrence Howard shit. Did you see him come out and say? Did you see him come out and say that Diddy wanted to fuck him?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he just put out
Yeah.
a video. Yeah, like he went on some podcast.
creep shit.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like he's like, yeah, I want to get some acting lessons, and just like,
Yeah, just eyeballing him. Yeah, bro. Diddy was sick, man.
Yeah,
This
that's
dude's
sick.
This fucking dude's going down, bro.
He's an evil motherfucker.
this.
But this is the type of shit though. So like, and this is another interesting thing before we start to wrap this one up is like now we're starting to see like the how evil and demonic like Hollywood is, like with like the Harvey Weinsteins, the Diddy's, the fucking like Russell Brand just got jammed up, fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme got jammed up. But what it is about, what is it about higher society? What do they know about what they're doing? Is you know what I mean? Because it's all ritualistic shit. Like, what are they tapping into?
Something.
What energy are they tapping into that they have to like? And it is obviously an evil one. Like, they have the moniker "selling your soul to the devil," but you're harnessing some sort of energy. What do you guys think it is?
I don't know. Giving up your innocence.
Giving up the booty hole?
Whatever metaphor you want to use, but yeah, that's the physical way. But like, yeah, 100%. In order to gain any type of stardom in Hollywood, to my perspective, is you got to give up your ass. And when you're giving up that, it's either photographed or something is taken from you at that exact point to hold power over you, so that when you do gain the knowledge of being in Hollywood and what it does, you're enslaved to it 100%, and you must bend to their will. So if you have to say like, oh, the only thing that's going to work in this movie is putting a transgender in this exact spot, then you have to do this thing, even if it goes against what you believe, or the exact opposite. If you have to put a straight person in there when you believe it should be a transgender person, it's just all this confusion. It's power and control, so that the narrative that whoever is controlling all of this doesn't get indirected. It just is what it is. And like, if you look at what was it, Prince Henry that got caught with Weinstein.
Prince Andrew.
So like he got caught with the girls with the pictures and stuff like that, and all the power that man had was now consumed by the person that took the picture. She says, I have the picture of him doing all this stuff. I own you, and if I need something to happen that you have the power to control, it's done.
Well, that's kind of what's happening now with all of our with our entire government. You know, that you're right. That the power shifts, and that's when you can control somebody when you can control their image.
Yep.
You know.
And that's where the power of acceptance comes into play. You can accept the things that you've done, and you can accept reality as it is. Then you can push on for your truth. But if you can't accept these things and you allow your own will to control things, then the outside forces will be the things that actually control you, and not you.
Yeah, you do have to have some level of acceptance. We say it all the time, man. Where you gotta you gotta love yourself. You know, you gotta love. A lot of us aren't brought up to really know yourself. Like you come up so fast as a youth and then into young adulthood and all of this other shit. It's like career, kids, fucking, you know what I mean? All of this other shit. By the time you're 35, 40, 50, you're having a midlife crisis. You know, it's like because nobody ever really sat down and said, you know what, maybe before I have children, let me understand who I am as an energy or a consciousness. You know, because you change every day.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone changes every single day.
Every day.
Feelings change, thought processes change. So get to know yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Spend some time with yourself, you know.
And then come back and tell people. If you don't have anybody to conversate with it, use this as the source.
Yep.
And just come back to this video and leave another comment and leave another one. And then just build off of the fucking thing. Because the only way we're going to know anything is by starting this and continuing it. Not stopping the pursuit of truth. Like if you stop or get distracted by a dusty or something coming in your life that just disturbs your vibration towards the channel of energy you're trying to commit to, and you don't document like what you're doing, it'll just be lost in the wash and it won't be of existence and other people won't be able to build on it. And that's where the power is when other people dive into the idea and they help grow the idea and their perspective and their input is put into it, and it builds into something and it continues.
Well, that's what we're building here, man. You know what I mean? That's what we're building. And you know, it's so fucking interesting. Herb and I were just talking about it outside. Is like the podcast has seen considerable growth, you know, since Herb and I really put the foot on the gas, you know, and we're starting to attract all of the energies that fuck with us, you know, and it's like the one now we are building that discussion around a number of topics and shit like that. You know, obviously we've been kind of getting into the news a little bit too, but like breaking news type shit. But we really like to have these conversations and really dig into topics. And getting into death, man, is not comfortable for everyone.
No. Not at all.
You know, but I feel like we've had some psychedelic experience, so it's like we kind of know it's all fake anyway. You know, it's not fake, but it's
not as real as it seems.
It's not as real as it seems, man.
You know, I just stopped taking shit so serious, even myself. Like, we always got the usual shit we worry about. It's just like whatever, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
seriously.
Well, again, how long you got?
Like that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm not living like that no more. It is what it is.
Yeah, you just want to build, just want to love. You know, just want to you don't want to have fucking confrontations with stupid, less evolved people.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how I look at it too. Is like it's like understanding projections too. Like when people project, you know, it's like it's just parts of yourself you're not comfortable with.
Yeah, sure. Keep that over there.
Right.
You can see it too. Once you start elevating yourself, you can just see it. Well, like, they got some unsolved shit they're working through.
Yeah.
It's not. They're not even looking at me.
Or some of them don't even realize they have it and they're stuck balls deep.
No.
And you can see it.
Well, it's another part of integration, though. You know, as we all have to integrate the shadow side. That's the shadow work. That's the shadow work. Is like, ask her. Irv knew me when I was still the young Thundercat. You know what I mean? So it's like just having an idea of like being like, oh man, none of that shit fucking matters. It's you really have growth, and you don't want to fucking crack heads anymore. It's fun, and these discussions matter, man. But what do we got, Irv? How long we been going here?
All right, we just hit the 2-hour mark.
2 hours. That shit went by quick.
It always does, man.
Shout out to everybody on Rumble. We have 4 currently watching.
Okay.
17 tuned in tonight.
Nice.
Appreciate you guys.
It's beautiful.
As well as X, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, everywhere else we are.
Let us know what you guys think. Kind of think of this model too. Right, this was a little different. We're working on getting like an actual setup, but I think that the camera angle worked out great. And
this was great.
It was a little bit different. Dusty made an appearance. He's sleeping now. He's tired now, though.
He puked up 2 steaks over there in the corner.
He's tired now, though.
Dust you consumed tonight.
But make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Make sure you tap everything in with the social medias, all that shit. We will be announcing the giveaway probably next episode, I think, or we'll do the giveaway. So whoever's YouTube is public and we can see is who we're going to pull from, and we'll give away a $100 Amazon gift card and a Nonsensical hoodie. And we're closing in on 600 subscribers now. I think we're in the 560s. And then we got about 6,200 on TikTok right now.
Oh, shit.
Crushing it. So thank you for fucking with our movement. You guys got anything else?
I'm set.
Thanks for tapping in, guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Excuse me.
This is